Hello, I'm Flat. I'm an interviewer for the media team, and today we will be doing Meet the Leadership Luna. Okay. Hey, how's it going, Luna?
Oh, not bad.
Alright, so let's start off. Who are you? And what's your role in EGO?
So, I'm Luna. I've been in EdgeGamers for a little over, it's got to be, yeah, over 12 years now. I've kind of seen a little bit of everything. Uh, in the community right now, I'm the community manager of admin development. Specifically, that is in regards to making sure we're remaining consistent across all of our games with how we handle, like, various things with our admin teams, helping write new admin guides for new games that we take on, like helping build up these teams so that whenever we support a new game that has some type of in-game admin on it, that we have, you know, a good quality admin team to support it.
Okay, yeah, so the main thing you do is admin development, right?
Yes.
And yeah, like, you've been in Edge Gamers for a long time.
Yep, been in a long time, decorated with plenty of awards, plenty of which I still have imposter syndrome, and I'm like, I don't think I really deserved that one, but
Yeah, alright, so can you briefly explain to us what admin development is?
Uh, yeah. I can
Just a little bit more in
touch on
depth.
that again. Yeah. So, admin development is kind of a really small team. Right now, it's pretty much just me and um, Rick, who is another longtime member of the community, and we're kind of tasked with like again making sure that no matter what games we're supporting, no matter where we move into or what we like throw, like that we're always consistent and that we're always like true to our values and like what we want to be as a community. Um, so like, we want to make sure that, people a lot of the time say something like, oh, well, CSGO is a much more mature game than something like Minecraft, so we'll let things slide in CSGO, but like in Minecraft, we'll admin it. But we're trying to make sure that everything is consistent because we don't want people from one game, we'd love people to play it every game. So if you got people playing Counter-Strike and they're like, oh, cool, we have a Minecraft server, they want to try it out, and then they're getting like warned or kicked or banned for things that were perfectly fine in CS, like that leads to a really bad experience for like our players, our admins, just like everyone. So we're trying to make sure that everything is really uh, just all together, like
Yeah, so
same, like
everything's kind of like equal, like every game.
yep,
Yeah, like the
yep, everything
rules.
is that's the goal. It's obviously there's always work to be done with that, and we're still working very hard to achieve our goals with where we want things to be. Um, but I think we've done a lot to kind of get things in a much better place than where they used to be.
Yeah, okay. And wait, okay. What first drew you to the Edge Gamers community, and how did you get involved with it?
So, when I got my first ever like computer, like my own computer, when I was like uh, 15 or 16. I think I was 16. Um, when I was in high school, I got a laptop, uh, and uh, with this, the first game I downloaded was Counter-Strike Source. I bought and downloaded Counter-Strike Source because I had been watching Counter-Strike esports for a while. Um, and I had played a little bit of 1.6 like in the past, but like not a lot of it, not a huge amount. So I downloaded Source and I started playing on like various uh, big big pop servers. So I played a lot on the 64-player Dust 2 server that we had back then, which we still have to this day, which is kind of impressive, honestly. Um, and then from there, I found I joined. Uh, I went to some of the events. They had like an event where they were testing out new jail maps. Um, and then I was like, oh, this is so much fun. And then I found out we had a whole server where that's all they did, like 24/7 was play jail. And so I joined up with that, and I put, over 1,000 hours into that server back then. I put over 1,000 hours into the one we had on CS:GO when that moved on. I was very much like someone that went through like everything in CS, like from being an admin to an admin trainer, and you know, I from there I just kind of like was kind of grounded as this one of the what we would refer to as like a lifetime like member, like people that like when they join they don't ever really leave. They might take a break once in a while, but we always come back. So
Yeah. All right. And I know you were talking about your achievements earlier, but what are some of your proudest achievements in gaming, either within EdgeGamers or just as gaming like as a whole?
I think some of my proudest achievements in like gaming, I think I've 100%ed like a few games in my time that were, I don't know if I would be like extremely proud of it because like one of them was extremely annoying, which was Assassin's Creed 2 on the Xbox 360, which is a really fun game, but they had this like a collect 100 feathers thing that drove me insane when I was um I've 100%ed other games on PC, but I think like in Edge Gamers, my proudest achievement was at one point in time I was what they called like jail server boss. This would be very similar to like what Counter-Strike has now with like lead server specialists or their advisors for like specific servers, so like their TTT advisor or their jail advisor, something like that. So not a leadership role, but like, you know, you're kind of in charge of trying to make sure it's doing well.
Yeah.
And I did that for a bit, and I took the server from being in the like below 2,000 in rank, like it was doing pretty bad, to the top 500 servers, like in under a month, and then we kept it there for a while. Unfortunately, things tapered off after a bit. There's plenty of reasons for that, but I was still so proud to see like what we were able to do with that and how it kind of got a lot of people like more interested in the community. And there's people that from playing on that server all that time stuck around and became huge influences. Like an old tech community manager, CRC, actually was originally playing a lot on the jail server back then. I played with him. I actually gave him a promotion recommendation back then. Made his way all the way up to community manager. Really smart guy. Um, and it's just cool to see that we have a community where if we have fun servers, people want to get like involved so that they can stick around and make sure that the servers that they like stick around for as long as possible.
Yeah. And yeah, have you been gaming like your whole life? Like,
Oh, yeah, for as long as I can remember. I think my parents originally gave me and my siblings like Game Boys because they wanted us to just shut up on long car rides when we'd go camping. But like I had my first ever game console was a Sega Genesis. I had Sonic 1 and 2, Road Rash 2, some NHL games, a few others. Um, then I had a PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, uh, PlayStation 4. Now I have a PlayStation 5 for like console games, and then for handhelds, I've had like I've been a gamer my whole life really. I've had like every Nintendo handheld except for the DSi, which was like a miserable experience. I've also had most of their consoles from GameCube on. I had a GameCube, a Wii. I never had a Wii U because I mistakenly assumed at the time, because like media isn't what it is now, that it was just like a Wii that had a little like handheld tablet and not a completely different console.
yeah, so you've really been through it all.
Yeah, really.
And I took a like brief looking at your profile, and I realized that you have quite the infiltration with like anime and manga culture. Do you have like a favorite genre or theme within anime that you like gravitate towards to, like that you like the most, or like what's your favorite basically?
I think my favorite, and it's there's not a lot that would like follow this format, but I like a lot of fantasy stuff, but I don't like the really like the isekai, like the person's in like another world or whatever, or like the really big like super overpowered like main character. I like the ones where it's like a fantasy world where you feel like this is like a place where people live and like the world feels alive, and it's like kind of like its own like setting. Like Spice and Wolf is one of my favorite animes for that reason, because it's just like the whole thing is it's just this guy traveling with this girl, and he's a merchant, and he constantly tries to come up with get-rich-quick schemes for no reason and loses all his money.
Yeah. Alright. And how have you changed since you stepped foot into the EdgeGamers like server?
How have I changed? I would say it's not as much now, but I think when I was younger, I think being in EdgeGamers and also working a lot of customer service jobs, but definitely EdgeGamers helped with this. I think I was like more like chill and like respectful like of people. Like things were like we had a lot of admins back then. Like a server, like a full server of like 64 people in Counter-Strike would be like at least half of them were like admins. Like back then, there was a lot of admins. And like people were really quick to like make sure people were like just being respectful and stuff. Back then we also had a no swearing rule. You couldn't swear. It was like a worn kick ban like offense. You just weren't allowed to swear. It was just a thing that they did back then. But honestly, people were like, "Oh, that's like a terrible idea. Like, why would you ever do that?" But we had like full servers constantly, even with that rule, and it made people way more chill. Because if you can't swear, it takes just a second longer for you to think about what you're about to say, so you can try not to swear, and then you realize that it's probably not worth saying.
Yeah, like it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
get that even today.
So I think like EdgeGamers kind of helped me with that, with like sometimes, not always, but sometimes thinking about what I'm gonna say for just a moment longer to really like understand like what it is I'm gonna be saying, and try to be respectful to people even if they don't, even if they're not always being respectful to you.
Yeah. Alright, and is there any past or present members of EdgeGamers that you've like looked up to, like not as your hero as to say, but like aspired to be like? If so, yes, who and why?
I don't know if there's anyone aspired to be like, but definitely someone that I really, there's two people that when I came back to the community in 2017, after taking a long break, there's two people that really got me to stick around. One was Legend, who's obviously still here. Um, Legend hung around, played jail like every night. Like we had a thing, a running joke, or it wasn't really so much of a joke. We just would play jail on Saturdays. We called it No Drama Saturday. We would just hang out and have fun and goof around on the server. It was great. And he kind of really anchored me here and like kept me around, because I was like, you know, I really want to like be around a place where people can just make friends like that. But the one person I would say is Rogue Sniper. He was someone who used to create a lot of the maps that we used on our old jail server. Most, if not all, of the maps from at a point in time were created by EdgeGamers members and admins. They were all in-house, and we had a very specific kind of thing going with them compared to what people would be more familiar with on the current Jailbreak server. So when I say jail, I don't mean Jailbreak. Not that they're like completely different. It's the same game mode, but completely different like cultures and maps, really. And Rogue was just someone that was really stubborn, really hard-headed, had some real strong opinions and ideas about how things should be done and like what would make things better. But like at the end of the day, he just cared about having a place where he could come play and like have fun with people he liked playing the game with, and show off like maps that he put a lot of time into making. And he had some really cool, like technically like interesting like maps he would design. And I can't say enough positive things about the guy. He's unfortunately no longer with us. He passed away a while ago, couple years ago now at this point. There was a front page news post about it. He lives a very private life, so I'm not going to go too much into detail with it. But yeah, I think he was someone that I really looked up to and like stuck around for, because there was nothing more infectious than when you would do something crazy on one of his maps and he would just like freak out in TeamSpeak and be like, "How'd you do that? Like, you're not supposed to do that." So.
Yeah. All right. And for our last question, how has being a part of EdgeGamers community influenced your life outside of gaming, if at all?
Uh, this is gonna sound silly, but this is something that, as far as I'm aware, the like Legend and some people at the top have like done for people in the past. Whether it was writing like a letter of recommendation for like a college or a professional letter for like a job or something like that. Legend once wrote me a letter of recommendation for a job promotion, um, which I know sounds silly, but it was because of like all the stuff I had done here in the community. Like he was really good at wording it in a way that made it like sound really professional and really like all these things are like applicable to it without really going into the gaming stuff so that they wouldn't get weirded out by it. So he was really good at making it look good, and they'd actually got me a job down the line because they were looking for someone that had leadership experience. And even though I wasn't a leader, he talked about how I was able to, like, while I wasn't in a leadership position, like kind of act like as a leader and kind of like improved upon things and made things better, like through like taking initiative and stuff like that. And they saw that and they're like, you know, they're like torn between me and one other person, and that letter is what got me that job. So
Yeah, that's pretty
yeah,
impressive.
yeah, so there's skills in EdgeGamers that people can learn that can like last them a while. Like there's, you know, the stuff you can do with the tech team. So much of that you can put on like a portfolio or a resume and say, oh, I have experience working with these technologies in like a setting supporting however many users. Or if you're in like admin training, there's a whole job field called like it's professional coaching and professional training for like people that do make training material for people. Like that's a skill. Event coordinators, that's a whole other thing. Like event planning is a real life job, and it's not easy from what I've been told, because people will cancel on you last minute. It's like if your co-host just decides to disappear, or like, or you know, or being a leadership member. Hell, media has a ton of like things that can apply to real life stuff. Right? There's so many things that people sometimes forget. It's like, yeah, it's a gaming community. It's goofy. We're not at all like gonna be like super like over the top like professional about everything. But there's things you can learn here that can help you down the line. And hell, you might even learn that you like something more than you thought you did, and end up using it as a career down the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure like a lot of people really realize that, even me. Like you kind of just shed some light to me about that. Like I was never like totally like knew about that, and how much that could actually like help you in real life. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for the interview, really. I appreciate your time and doing this for us today.
Oh, no problem. I was glad to be here. Thanks for doing the interview.